So Kiwi Creative is a marketing agency that works just with clients in the SaaS and technology industry. So over the years, we've seen lots of different marketing challenges, but I would say the number one mistake that we see SaaS companies making is that they're really focusing on product and technical specs versus understanding how at the end of the day they're going to solve the customer's pain points here. So I'm going to give you a few tips for how to make sure that you are not making the same mistake that we see a lot of our clients make. As an agency, we believe in this so much that I actually have a Post-it permanently on my dry erase board right next to my computer here. You can see it's smudged and worn down. It's made the move with me as I've changed offices here, but I put it up as a daily reminder for us and our clients that people don't buy products, they buy solutions. So at the end of the day, it's really all about solving problems. You can also say I have some fun fortune cookie fortunes up there as well too for good karma. So how do we do that? As SaaS companies, a lot of times on websites, you'll talk a lot about your product. You'll talk about your great uptime, all of your customers, how many integrations you have, all the abilities to white label it. And in fairness, in your mind, you're saying this because you know that that's solving a problem of your customer. However, a lot of SaaS companies make it too hard to connect the dots. So at the end of the day, your customer just wants to do a great job at work. They want to go home on time. They want to reduce spend. They want to increase efficiencies. Don't make them connect the dots between your product features and what they themselves want to accomplish. Now, to complicate this even further, not every one of your customers, of course, needs the exact same thing. Somebody in the C-suite will probably be more concerned with revenue. Somebody down at a managerial level will probably be more concerned with processes and people. So to make sure that you are able to segment your content and talk to the right audiences the right way, it's really important that you come up with what we in the industry call buyer personas. So these are going to go way beyond just technical demographics. A cute name here. We have C-suite Chris. Yes, it's good that he has a CEO title and he's in his 50s and has an MBA, but what we really want to get down to is the nitty-gritty of what is going to motivate him to buy your product. So talking about fears, what's going to make him look like a hero to his boss or his board of directors or advisors. Where does he go for material? What problems has he had in the past with other vendors? So really getting down to what is going to motivate him to change either what he's doing or adapt a new process with your specific SaaS product. So the good news is you probably already know a lot of this in your gut already. You just need to write it down on a sheet of paper. But it's always good to expand upon what you've done traditionally in the past and make sure that you're talking to your customers. Specifically ask them these sorts of questions. Have your salespeople talk about it during the sales process so you understand the type of info that people really need. Survey your sales team. Even go in and monitor social media, set up different alerts for hashtags to see what people are talking about. Traditionally, you can do more expensive long-term market research, but we found in the past that really talking to your sales team, your customers and prospects, as well as just what you know in your gut is a good first step to getting those buyer personas. Now that you know what each of your unique buyers wants, to complicate matters even further, they want different things at different parts of the buying process. So if they're in an early awareness stage, they're going to want more general info. They're still trying to wrap their heads around the problem exactly that they're trying to solve. As they progress to consideration and eventually decision, you're going to want to make sure that the type of content that talks to their problems is much more specific. So this is when more of your technical info can come into play. You don't have to forget the tech specs altogether. Just know who's interested in it and when in the buying process they're interested in all of this. So the moral of the story is really that as a SaaS company, you want to give your customers what they need, what they want, and focus less on the technical specs of your product, more on how you're going to solve their long-term problems. So not only you increase your signups, but you reduce churn because they understand how you fit into the overall SaaS ecosystem that they're using. It's also important to remember, again, all customers are not the same. Based on job titles, based on company types, they're going to have different problems that they need your SaaS solution to solve. So you need to make sure that you're always segmenting your messaging. Blanket messaging is never going to be nearly as compelling as if you're able to segment your list of emails, let's say, to talk to specific job titles, for example. And even if you are targeting one specific buyer persona, they're going to have different needs based on where they are in that buying cycle. So don't throw all the technical information that you have out the window, but make sure that you have a good range of content that nurtures people, assuming it's not an immediate buying decision, through awareness, consideration, and then finally making a decision here at the end. So I think we're getting close to the end of the session here. I don't know if we have time for Q&A or not, but I'm certainly able to answer anything that people pop up in the chat, or we can go on to the next how to solve slide.
We do have a few minutes because if there are any questions, yeah, here's a question straight away. Any templates you have to help documenting personas?
Yes, we do. If you'd like to email me, I can send those over to you. Actually, can I just type in the chat?
Yeah.
Perfect. There's my email address. I have lots and lots of examples of different buyer persona templates. So if you email me, I can send those over to you.
Great. Are there any other questions? A few people, I definitely think, want those templates by the look of it, which is great. Lots of people. Awesome. That's great to see. Any other questions? Because we still do have a couple of minutes. If there are any other questions for Jen or anything else you would like Jen to send you, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to help.
I was so paranoid about making it 10 minutes that I made sure I was really succinct. I could spend hours talking on each of these points, of course.
No worries, it's great. I think there's a lot of people definitely interested in learning a bit more. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions at this stage, then yeah, we'll bring on the next talk. Thanks a lot, Jen. I think there's definitely a few people want to connect there. Kiwi Creative also have a booth in the expo area if you want to find them there as well. So please look them up. They're amazing. So cheers, Jen. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I do see one more question.
Oh, no, you have time for that. Go for it.
Yeah. So if you have several personas, she asked, how would you prioritize? And the answer is going to be which ones have the most business value for you. So which ones are going to be the fastest to close, the highest decision maker, are going to produce the most revenue, the longest term customers. Focus on those people first, of course, and then as you get enough content for the top priority ones, move on to the lower level ones. Perhaps people who are involved in the decision-making process, but aren't that end person who signs the contract or is able to make the decision.
That's great. That's brilliant. And yeah, another email there. And good, we've got time for one more question. Let's go for Kathleen's final question. And then
Gordon. Hey, Gordon. Nice to see you again. How would you cross-reference that with those at the bottom of the funnel? High value and bottom of funnel. So in terms of she keeps chatting here with me, versus high value top of funnel. So the personas really aren't funnel specific. That journey map is what's talking about the funnel here. So I think everybody has some content already. So doing a content audit and really doing a spreadsheet of, personas on the top, funnel stages on the bottom, and filling in all the columns in between will identify where those gaps are for you. So it's not so much about focusing either on top of funnel or bottom of funnel, but figuring out where the biggest gaps are, because I bet you have a concentration problem maybe at the top of the funnel and are lacking materials at the bottom of the funnel.